Hi to our backers, I am Davide Cencini, the creator of Darkwing, and I wish to thank you all for the amazing support you're giving to our project. So let's talk about Darkwing. What is it? Darkwing is a dark, epic fantasy series set in the world of Coron, comprised of several novels, comics and gamebooks. The project started in Italy in 2012 with the first book, The Seven-Eyed Sword, and since then a lot has happened, including the creation of a spin-off series of gamebooks. I'm going to talk to you about the gamebook, or as I like to call it, my video game on paper. I've been a huge fan of gamebooks ever since I was a kid. I used to spend my summer time over Lone Wolf and other titles, until one day they were gone from the shelves. When I first drafted The Hunt as a spin-off of Darkwing, I was trying to recreate that feeling of being a kid in a hero's skin, reading to myself and adventuring at the same time. I wondered, what did I like about that experience? What didn't I like? Was there anything that, as a writer or as a designer, could I improve upon? I loved reading through a good story and being transported into a world where I got to make the choices. Except when I didn't. I realized that in many gamebooks, the choices you could make were apparent or very limited, and the player would be guided towards the one right ending meant by the writer. But what if the player could make a real impact on the story, like in video games such as Mass Effect or Dragon Age? That's when I understood that I didn't have to think just like a novel writer, but also like a programmer. I prioritized giving the players the maximum freedom of choice, starting with character creation. In Darkwing, you don't have just one, but 16 playable races and both sexes, and plenty of elemental powers and fighting styles to choose from. Mix that up with checkpoints to save your progress, non-linear sequences of exploration, and a very unique relational system, and you get something very much like a video game you can read. And if you want the full RPG-like experience, consider backing the game manual too. You will unlock a lot of new combat features, such as new abilities, ranged combat, and a more in-depth experience system based on your actual combat performance. Also, did I mention that The Hunt is but the first episode of Wyvern's Adventures? A sequel, The Voice of Graven, has already been published, and the third title is coming this year. Since all of your progress is recorded in the mission log, you can actually carry your choices over into the new books, creating a unique storyline for your own Wyvern. I hope that you will love The Hunt just as much as I've loved writing it. Muchas gracias a todos nuestros seguidores.